For more, we're joined by former Deputy National Security Advisor during Trump's first term, KT McFarland. Always great to see you, KT. Thank you so much for being here. And the administration was all over the map, literally, today. The Democrats are pouncing on them, saying that these trips and what President Trump is trying to do is going to actually damage us on the global stage. It's going to damage our alliances. But if you look at every point that he's trying to target, and let's just talk about Greenland first, since we heard the soundbite from J.D. Vance. Actually, our enemies are trying to align and take from us in Greenland. He's just trying to level the playing field on all grounds.
Yeah, look, President Trump understands two realities that determine all of our foreign policy, our trade policy, our economic policy. Number one, other countries need to sell stuff to us more than we need to buy stuff from them. Because, you know, the European market flatlined. The European economies aren't growing. China needs to export to us or it can't survive. So we're in this amazing position of strength that our trade position plus our American energy dominance, our oil and natural gas, we are now setting the global price. We are supplying the world with oil and natural gas. So those two things give President Trump enormous leverage. So he's going country by country and he is resetting our trade and economic relationships, which each of these countries, different for each one, but you know, this is the art of the deal, and President Trump is taking full advantage of it.
KT, talking about resetting and the art of the deal, I'm hoping with Canada the art of the deal happens very quickly so consumers don't have to accept new higher tariffs. Obviously, a great resolution would be tariffs coming down on both sides. Do you expect that, or is this likely going to be a heavy cost for a while?
Look, it's going to be a bumpy road, and President Trump has been pretty clear about that. It's going to be a bumpy ride. At the end of the day, it's going to be great for America. He's going to use tariffs, the threat of tariffs, to get one of two things. Either to get foreign companies to start producing in the United States, and therefore there's no tariff, or he's going to have reciprocal tariffs. In other words, you want to charge us 25% tariff? We'll charge you 25% tariff. We'd prefer no tariff. And so that's the deal he's going to cut with Canada. And, you know, it's so great to watch how President Trump does things. So last week, oh, Canada, he was saying 51st state, Canada's in terrible shape. Today, he had a great phone call with the new prime minister. So he resets it very quickly. And with regard to someplace like Greenland, look, Greenland is in our strategic and economic and trade interests. Strategic interests because of its location. You know, we need Greenland for our national security because of its position in the North Atlantic. For our economic interests, we need Greenland because it has rare earth minerals. We don't have much. China has a lot of rare earth minerals. We don't. Greenland does. So we could develop their rare earth minerals. And then the other thing is, as the polar ice caps melt, the Arctic is going to become one of the most important maritime trade routes. So if you have Canada, Alaska, and Greenland, you're controlling that Arctic. And as the vice president said, look, the one thing we don't want to let happen in Greenland is for China to come in. Yeah. So I do think that President Trump is going to, you know, he'll have a charm patrol with them.
KT, I just have about one more minute here, but you're talking about not just fair trade. You're not talking about fair rules like you can't send your criminals to our country. You're talking about national security implications. Listen, it was a volatile week. There were a lot of announcements. I know you're not a market expert, but there was market volatility, and we closed a lot lower today on Wall Street because of the uncertainty that is out there. When do you think this is all going to settle down and people will start to get more clear on what the plan actually is and how it comes together?
Well, I hope it comes, and I hope it comes very quickly. But it could be, as President Trump has said, it could be a rocky road. It could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, it could be 2 months. But if you'll notice, every country that we're dealing with now and we're settling with, it's always coming out to our advantage. Whether it was settling with Mexico a couple of weeks ago, with Colombia, we're going to do the same thing with the European countries. But until then, you know, the threat is only good if the other countries think you'll carry it out. So President Trump is going to be getting right up to the edge before he does the deal.
All right. KT McFarland, great to see you. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.